Joining me now, Ned Ryun, founder and CEO of American Majority. Ned, it's 234 days out from the election. We've seen how far the handlers of Biden are going to go to keep him in power. They're relying on lawfare, isn't quite working how they thought it would. But what should Trump and the GOP be doing between now and November to ensure that he not only gets to 270 electoral votes, but gets way over 270 electoral votes to where this Real Clear Politics map shows him about 316, 320?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I mean, the poll's great, right? He never led in 2016 or 2020. But you know the left's going to close the gap with their ballot collecting machine. And if the elections were today, sure, Trump wins, but they're not. Like you said, they're 7 months from now, over 7 months from now. And I think that we as Republicans and Trump need to run like we're behind. And I think the biggest thing that the right needs to understand is that elections today are not necessarily about votes, about persuading voters, but it's about ballots. How big is your ballot universe? And are you going to collect more ballots than the left, especially in the battleground states? So if I were Trump and the RNC, I'd be doing more to generate absentee ballots among low propensity voters in those battleground states, putting the infrastructure in place to collect those ballots. I mean, let's face it, Laura, Trump's not catching anybody by surprise this fall. For him to win, for us to save America, there has to be an absolute tsunami of GOP ballots in those battleground states. And while there is work being done, there's more that needs to be done to make that a reality.
Well, earlier today, Martha McCallum interviewed Mike Pence about who he is not endorsing. Watch this.
Donald Trump is pursuing and articulating an agenda that is at odds with the conservative agenda that we governed on during our 4 years. And that's why I cannot, in good conscience, endorse Donald Trump in this campaign.
Ned.
So you want another second term of Biden? I mean, Laura, that was loathsome for Mike Pence to say that. And honestly, Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, every last Republican should be endorsing Trump. If you care about this country, if you care about the Constitution, right. Our country cannot survive another 4 years of this administration. We are already on the brink. And the only man who is going to be the GOP nominee that can beat Joe Biden is Donald J. Trump. So get behind Trump, save the country.
I don't know what he's talking about. Trump's not pushing for the policies that they governed on. What is he talking about? I think Pence should just go down to the border and start welcoming people in, because he might as well do that and just start working directly for Biden. Ned, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.